let's think of this. We got music nowadays that sounds very similar. I'm gonna pick on metal because this is far and beyond from being exclusive to much more socially acceptable music genres. Where I see the biggest problem is in metal and rock. Why? First and foremost, what is the hardest thing among guitar players in the last 3 years or 4? Modelers.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not aware of what do I mean by that, a guitar, an amp modeler is a device that allows you to recreate the sound of an amplifier without having to use the amplifier. It's digital, of course, and it sounds very good. I, for one, I use my library is based on those systems. I think it's fantastic. The issue is this: nobody is dialing the sounds based on their taste, because kids nowadays are buying electric guitars and are buying modelers that comes with the presets loaded inside, which means that it sounds like I like it. That's where it stops. So they don't develop the sense of how to make it sound correctly.
Yeah.
And they are using somebody else's taste. And since everybody's doing that, nobody's developing sounds.
Yeah.
Coming back to what you said about being able to detect the sound of a band just by listening to the quality or the particularities of the recording itself. Think of Eddie Van Halen. Does his guitar sound like John Petrucci's?
No.
No.
Very different.
Impossible. Now, of course, I picked different eras, but relevant to each other. Let's think of Steve Vai and Joe Satriani. Joe Satriani was Steve Vai's teacher. Do they sound the same?
No.
No. Why? Because both develop their own sounds. Both have spent the time developing and crafting something that speaks to them and allows them to present their ideas to the masses in a musical fashion. It's not happening anymore because people are very used to using presets or using pre-established stuff. How many people are rocking actual amplifiers nowadays? Live. No, man. Because it's way cheaper buying those modelers, which I love. I think they are great technology.
They're quite efficient.
Very efficient, and somebody who has toured and shit. I appreciate the fact that it's easy to transport. And it's very, very, allows me to rest assured that it's going to work because it's way more stable than a valve amplifier. But in the studio, man, no, man. Anything should be recorded through the use of the real deal because that means that you have to spend the time creating the tone and crafting a sound, because you can see now that if guitarists don't like that, what stops the rest from sounding the same? And especially in metal, you can even see and hear. I can even think of many, when it comes to drums, they are replacing the entire drum kit. For those of you who know, sound replacement is actually you use a sample to be the one that you hear instead of or on top of the actual hit of the stick on the drums. Creating a much more clinical, better, cleaner, much more precise sound. And you can even tell after a few years of doing this which library they used.
That's a very nerdy ear you got there.
But the thing is that you get to a point, nothing is exciting, nothing has personality.
But look, you there's a little word that you mentioned here that there are a few times.
Sucks.
Craft.
Oh, crap.
Well, crap is the result of not tackling that correctly.
Yeah, you got comments.
Yeah, but in relation to what I'm about to say, so I'm gonna tackle that. To develop sound crafting, says it there, right there says it all, is a craft, is a skill to have. And now with the modern technologies that kind of deliver right out of the bat something that is serviceable, it kind of killed off the whole craft approach to tone creation and sound designing, which is a very important skill and is a very difficult skill to master. It's something that you have professionals that are dedicated to sound design or tone crafting because it's something that you gotta be good.
That's the role of the recording engineer. Yeah, the guy has to know. First, the guitar player. I'm gonna pick on the rock band because we're using that as a reference, but apply that to every single kind of music. Okay.
Yeah.
The guitar guy has to show up to the studio with his stuff, and he has to know how to create a sound that serves the purpose serves the song correctly. And the recording engineer has to be there understanding first the nuances of the sound produced by the band, following the instructions of the producer, and working in tandem with the musicians to create the sound or capture the sound that is produced by the musician himself through the use of the technology and the techniques that are part of the craft. For those of you who are not familiar with recording stuff, even positioning a microphone in a particular way, it's an art on its own, because depending where you put it, you create all sorts of textures, all sorts of sounds, all sorts of emotions that could be good or could be bad. It depends on your taste as the mixing recording engineer, and also it depends on the decisions and the objectives that the production is pursuing. So you see how technology is partially responsible for the demise of sound quality. First, I established the pursuit of loudness as one of the very big problems, but it goes beyond just loudness.
Yeah.
Because metal in particular everything sounds the same. If you go to wherever is charting right now, everything sounds like Disturbed.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And if you go to mainstream rock, everything sounds like Foo Fighters. And Foo Fighters developed that sound in 2004, man.
Yeah.
It's been more than 20 years. And we got the same freaking sound as Nickelback. For real.